You know, being successful with anything really is about understanding some basic principles. And hey, that even goes with grilling. You know, you gotta really understand the cuts of meat that you're actually taking out and putting on the grill. Brandon Brown with Hillcrest Artisan Meats is a guy who understands these cuts, and he's got some tips for us that can really come in handy the next time we fire up the grill.
I've been working in kitchens pretty much my whole life since I was about 16. You know, started as a dishwasher, and I've been cooking my whole life. We've always kind of wanted to do something on our own. Our family have a little family business. You know, I've worked for people my whole life. We moved here just to relocate for a change, and you know, found that there's nothing like this going on here. All the meat we offer here at Hillcrest Artisan Meats are all sourced local. We deal with 4 very small family-operated farms. And we just think it's really, really important for people to get back to knowing where their food comes from, rather than just going and buying a piece of meat out of the deli case at the grocery store. So educating people on that is a really important part of this business. Eating local, supporting your local small farms. Okay, as far as grilling beef goes, I mean, everybody knows about hamburgers, ground chuck. We all love hamburgers. It's probably the most common thing that people cook on the grill. And then you can go down the line to, you know, beef tenderloin is great. Just a little salt and pepper, quick sear. We like it medium rare at our place. There's the top sirloin. Everybody seems to like that one a lot too. As far as tenderness compared to the beef tenderloin, I'd say your next step is going to the beef ribeye. Bone in or bone out. The bone in, you know, is going to obviously take a lot more time on the grill. New York strips, not quite as tender as the tenderloin or the ribeye, but again, another great cut of meat. And then you can get into more obscure cuts. There's the hanger steak, also known as the butcher steak. The butcher used to take the hanger steak and they would keep it for themselves. And it's a great cut, very beefy in flavor. There's the flat iron steak, which is, again, a really tender cut of meat, pretty close to the tenderloin and the ribeye. And then you can get into the whole muscle meat, such as tri-tips, which grill up great. Marinate or dry rub on those is perfect. You can take whole ribeyes and grill whole ribeyes. You can grill whole strip loins, and then, you know, you can cut those steaks into as thin or thick steaks as you want. You can chill them, and you could use them to make great for roast beef sandwiches the next day for any leftovers. My personal favorite way is just a little bit of salt and pepper. You know, I don't want to mask the flavor of the beef, but the tri-tip is great with marinade or a rub. The whole muscles you can do the same way. The important thing to remember when you're grilling meat is to always remove it from the refrigerator at least a half an hour before you throw it on the grill. That way you're not grilling a cold piece of meat, which is going to take a long time for the heat to penetrate. If you want a medium rare steak, take your steak off when it's rare or a little bit before medium rare and let it sit and rest about 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to let the meat keep cooking a little bit, and it's going to let the juices come back together in the meat. You're going to have a really nice juicy piece of meat rather than all that juice running out all over your cutting board. Pork and beef are a lot different. Pork tends to be a little bit tougher, and so it's real important when you're doing any kind of cut of pork is a brine. A brine is basically salt water, and you can add any adjuncts that you want. Fresh herbs are great. Garlic is always great. Basically any cut of pork that you're gonna throw on the grill, it's great to throw in a brine. Let it sit for at least an hour. In the fridge or out of the fridge is fine. Pork tenderloin, really tender cut, takes marinade really well, and dry rubs too. That everybody knows about bone-in or boneless pork chops. Again, brine is very important on those as well. They can be tough, and they can be really easy to overcook. If you brine your pork chops or any cut of pork, you're going to have a hard time to overcook it. Pork bellies are great. Everybody knows them for bacon. But if you throw a pork belly on a grill and just do it nice and slow and low for a long time, that fat's gonna melt, the meat's gonna be tender, and it's a great cut of meat to do on the grill. Just remember, it's got a lot of fat. It's gonna take a long time to break that fat down. pig jowls. You can treat those just like you know, the pork belly. Jowl meat is unbelievably tender if you cook it right. Pork shoulder, you know, that's kind of a tricky one on the grill. It's a big cut of meat. We usually roast that. You can do ham on the grill. If you want to grill a whole ham, it's going to take a really long time, kind of like the pork belly. You're going to want to do it really slow. Ham steaks are great on the grill, you know, and you can get some sugars on them, some brown sugar, molasses. It'll make a nice caramelized ham steak on the grill. And same thing with the pork. Always have your pork at room temperature before you throw it on. Super important. And always let your pork sit for 5-10 minutes before you cut into them off the grill. Start off with salt, helps tenderize a little bit, and you know, definitely is going to be a flavor enhancer. Next we'll do pepper, coarse ground. It's going to you know, add a little bit of a bite to our rub, and without it, it just is not going to be the same. Next we have the garlic salt. If we throw whole garlic in there, the garlic will tend to burn as it's charring, and we definitely need that garlic flavor for this particular rub. Next we have the ancho chili powder. It's going to add a little bit of heat and definitely a little bit of a smoky flavor. And the last one, the main ingredient of this rub, is the cumin. A real original flavor. Definitely toast your cumin seeds before you grind them. It'll definitely bring out a lot more of the flavor of the seed. Make sure all your ingredients for your rub are thoroughly mixed. Start generously applying it to the tri-tip. If you don't use it all, you can always save it for next time in a sealed container. This is a great rub for pretty much any cut of beef. Generally apply to both sides, shaking off any excess. Make sure to get all the sides. So after you get your you know, your rub on there generously and you get it pressed in there, leave your meat out for 20 minutes, half an hour. Make sure your grill's nice and hot. What you're going to do, you want to sear it for 5 or 10 minutes on both sides to sear in all the spices on this rub. It'll char, it'll smoke a lot, but that's what you're looking for. 10 minutes each side. Pull it off to a cold side of the grill, cooler side of the grill. Turn your grill down if you got gas, colder side on the charcoal. And you're going to want to let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes each side, turning it only one time. Don't sit there and flip it back and forth, back and forth. You want to just let it sit 15 to 20 minutes each side for a nice medium rare tri-tip. Pull it off the grill, let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and slice into whatever size slices you want, thin or thick, and that's the cumin crusted tri-tip.